Welcome to the Private Practice Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storme, here to help you unlock the mind, business, and spirit of your private practice success. So whether you're just starting out or you're looking to grow, this is the place for you if you really want to create a thriving private practice. Before we dive in, I want to share something that can really make a difference in your business. Imagine having an expert in your pocket, someone available on demand whenever you need guidance. Well, that's exactly what my new program, Practice Momentum, offers. With over 30 years of experience at your fingertips, you can now get the support you need whenever you need it. Curious? Head over to brooklynstorme.com to learn more. Good morning and welcome to another episode of the podcast. Really pleased that you're here. I hope that you've been having a wonderful week. Mine has been super productive. Of course, I have a project on the go that I cannot wait to tell you about when it's finished. On day 6, I'm going to give you all the feedback after I've done 30 days. But let me just say, it's resulted in some huge shifts within the business, different business direction, pivoting, all of the things. And anyway, this morning I was thinking to myself, it's Wednesday, I get to do another podcast episode today. What am I going to talk to everybody about? And, I think we've clocked up together over 550 episodes now. That's a lot of hours together, isn't it? And so, I'm thinking, what would be helpful and useful to talk about today? And I was here at my desk, which has just had a lovely deep clean. Isn't it nice when you get to do that for your desk? Give it a really good deep clean so it all smells beautiful and fresh. But anyway, I got my Oracle cards out and I used the Wealthy Woman Oracle deck and then a very new deck actually that I bought off Amazon. I think it was just last week, and it's called the Animal Apothecary and it's by Cara Elizabeth. For some reason, I was just really drawn to it. It's by Hay House, but I got it, did I just say I got it off Amazon? I got it off Amazon. And if you're listening to this on Wednesday or Thursday, you may still be able to go and get things from Amazon sales because they're still having the Black Friday week, which is really good. I've been stocking up on loads of stuff. But anyway, I digress. One of my rituals or practices in the morning is to work with the Wealthy Woman Oracle deck. You've heard me talk about it a million times. It's just as someone who collects card decks, I know that sometimes a different deck is going to speak to you and a different deck is going to call to you. And, over time, you'll be drawn to different ones. And that's totally fine. I'm surprised at how long I've been working with this one though. It continues to speak to me, so I'm just using it. So because it's about wealthy women and embodying the wealthy woman identity and releasing blocks. Excuse me, buddy, on your couch. Good boy. On your couch. Good boy. Good boy. I'm trying to teach him not to jump around and be silly when I'm recording my podcast, because when I'm not recording my podcast, it's just he and I. And so it's pretty quiet. I love the quiet. He enjoys the quiet. When I'm talking to GarageBand, he gets very jealous and wants to be silly to get my attention. I'm just going to try and ignore him. He's off the couch again. Okay. So I was working with the cards and of course I set my intention, shuffling the cards. For me, I know when a card is the right card because for me, it just flies out of the deck. That happens with 99.9% of my decks. There are some, depending on the card stock, it doesn't happen with, but usually a card will make itself known and that is the card that I work with. And the card that came out this morning was called Seasons of Wealth, which made so much sense because this is talking about, you're probably thinking seasons as in winter, summer, autumn, spring. Yes. However, the seasons with the wealth can be less predictable and you can have many of them in the course of a year, right? You can have a season of abundance, you can have a season of ebb, you can have a season of flow, whatever's going on with your money. So this card is kind of saying that if you're experiencing, if you're noticing that abundance is coming to you. And we're speaking financially because this episode today is about money, but it could be opportunities. It might be new beautiful souls that you get to work with. It could be, I don't know, your exam results, whatever it is, job opportunities, whatever it is, right? We're going to say money. If the money is coming in, this is a time to just really have, bless the money. I tell my clients always, it's very important, I believe, to bless the money. Not so much because I believe in blessings per se. It's nothing to do with religion or anything like that. I believe that it's a way of being intentional in terms of cultivating a vibration, a feeling in your body, in your heart of thankfulness. And that thankfulness and appreciation, is the highest form of abundance. And when you embody those feelings and you embody those emotions, you embody those vibrations and all those kinds of things, you magnetize more abundance. It's not uncommon for counselors, psychologists, social workers to always be feeling like there's more to do. And the reality is there is always more to do because you are constantly learning more. You are constantly accumulating day by day more practice wisdom, more business wisdom. And as a result of that, you grow, which means that your business will shift and transform as you do. You might develop new interests and or new skills or new knowledge or decide that you want to move into a new niche or maybe have a pivot like I am. Like, I'm not making a huge pivot. It's just I really want to focus more in my business on the business of private practice, and that includes things like marketing, systems, processes, good strong foundations, things like that, which means that for me, I'm releasing things that are going to perhaps what's the word I want to say? I was going to say like take me away from that, but that doesn't sound right. But you know what I mean? Like it's not aligned at the moment with where the business is going. So that was things like some of the courses I've got, some of the other offerings that I've got, supervision, for example, things like that, releasing those. But anyway, what I was going to say before I went off was because we're always thinking that there's always more to do, it can keep us looking forward and looking ahead and looking to the undone things. And that takes us away from acknowledgement of the things we've got, the things we've achieved, the progress we've made, the abundance we've received. For example, when therapists say, oh, I only had one client yesterday. I mean, what's the energy of that? It's not great. And what do you think is going to come from that? Probably more not great things. As opposed to, it was so great yesterday because somebody had booked an appointment and I showed up for them and I was fully present and I really loved it. And I gave my all. I was really like just in the zone. I was really helping and they've booked in for another session and I'm so thankful for that client. Which energy do you think is going to get more clients? The second one, right? This is what I'm saying. Like, if we're complaining about things that we're receiving, we're less likely energetically to receive more of them. If you're looking at your KPIs and you're saying, oh, I only had 2 clients for the whole of the last month, that's not a fantastic energy. Versus last month I had 2 clients and I saw them both weekly, which was amazing. So it was a total of 8 bookings, which brought in, 8 times whatever, 150 or 60 years. And that's great because it meant that I was able to pay my rent. I was able to go out to dinner. I was able to pay myself a little bit. I'm getting there. Like, I can feel that the business is building. Completely different energy. So I think this card, talking about the seasons of wealth, right? It's saying that when you're receiving, you have to acknowledge that you're receiving. And when you're like, don't worry about how long it's going to last. Don't worry about, it all falling from beneath you. Like, don't get in your head about all those kinds of things. It's saying just be in the state of receptivity. I'm sorry. And then it was also saying, like, when you're in a state financially where maybe it's looking like it's more ebb than flow, there's goodness in that too, because it's an offering from the universe of the lessons. Why is the money scarce at this time? What was my part in this? What was the universe part in this? What do I need to do differently? So is it strategic things? Is it just that, I don't know, you've got a cancellation policy, but you're not using it and you're still broke, right? And you're frustrated that you're still broke. And so instead of using your cancellation policy, you're hustling to try and get new people in who are going to cancel. And do you know what I mean? Or is it more a lesson around your identity? Like, who do you want to be and who do you need to be? Thinking about the version of me that has financial safety, the version of me that has financial trust, the version of me that has financial security. How does she do this? How does she attract a client? How does she handle cancellations? How does she show up for her clients, right? How does she share a message? All those kinds of things. And starting to, I guess, reverse engineer, work backwards from that and think, okay, well, if she's over there doing that, then, am I doing that? Probably not. Okay, so what's my first step then? Because you don't have to do the whole thing, right? But you can take a step toward doing the whole thing. And that's called embodiment. And nothing's going to change without two things: embodiment and action. You have to not necessarily believe and delude yourself that you're financially abundant and all of those kinds of things. You don't have to do that. But you do have to start taking on the persona, the identity, the actions, the behaviors, the mindset, seeing things through the lens of the version of you who's already got to where you really want to go. And it's possible for you to get there, otherwise you wouldn't have had the desire for it, right? So the fact that it's even crossed your mind that you want this thing, whether it's, I don't know, $1,000 a week, or I don't know, 6-figure practice, like whatever, a 7-figure practice, whatever it is, means it's possible. There's just a mismatch now between your heart and soul knowing it's possible and your brain, your mind, your senses saying it's not. So there's a mismatch. And that's alignment, right? And so we need to bring these things together. And embodiment is a very effective way of doing that. And you can embody the version of you who's got the things you really want by either taking an action that person takes, that version of you takes, or starting to shift the self-talk. Is she thinking to herself that everybody hates her and that's why nobody's booking in? Probably not. How's she dealing with a quiet time in her practice? What is she doing with that time, right? And what are you doing with it? Is there a difference? And what's one little thing that she's doing that you can start doing? That's the embodiment. The embodiment is like actually doing it. It's you got to take action. And anyway, the more aligned, embodied actions that you start to take, the sooner and the quicker you become the version of you who's got the things that you want to have, right? So anyway, when money is flowing in, this is a time just to allow yourself to be in the divine feminine energy of receiving it. When the money isn't there, that's a time for you to perhaps be in the masculine energy of thinking, who do I need to be? What do I need to do? Who am I being, or who have I been being, and what have I been doing that's caused this effect? And it's really hard to take responsibility, right? Because it doesn't feel great, especially when you think that you've been trying so hard. And now I'm sitting here saying, well, maybe in some way you've also caused this effect. But there is a law of cause and effect. And without taking accountability, how can we change anything? We can't. And if we can't change anything, then we're going to be living at effect, which means we're living in our life, we're living in our business in a way that says, all of this is outside of my control. I'm a victim of circumstance. Look at me over here, Brooklyn. I'm posting everywhere. I'm blogging, I'm YouTubing, I'm podcasting, I'm doing everything, but no clients because of the economy. No clients because of Trump. No clients because of, wars overseas. Like some excuse. Rather than saying, okay, well, I'm doing all of these things. It's not working. How have I contributed to that? Or what am I doing that might be contributing to this sense of feeling like I'm working a lot and not really getting results? Okay, I'm not tracking anything. Okay, I'm not planning anything. Okay, I'm not listening to my audience. Okay, I'm posting, but I'm sharing other people's stuff. I'm not actually sharing anything of my own. Okay, I didn't master one thing and get it right before I started another. Instead, I've just been piling more things onto my list, not doing any of them very well. So maybe I need to put a pin in everything but one and start to just focus on becoming more proficient, efficient, and create mastery over that before I add more things onto my plate. Maybe that is the lesson here for me. Maybe the lesson here for me is work on my mindset around my money and charging, fees, undercharging fees, whatever, all of the things. You get the idea. So that was that. That came from the Wealthy Woman Oracle deck, and I'll just have a quick look at the little booklet that came with it and see if there's anything else. It's just saying be intentional. The more you find growth, the more growth you receive. Totally makes sense. And then I used the Animal Apothecary cards by Cara Elizabeth, and actually two jumped out at the same time. The first one was called Surrender to Receive, and it is all about how, what was it saying? I'll just read it to you. It says, the otter teaches us about the feminine power of reception through surrender. In the sea, otter is often floating on her back. Her stomach is open to the sky, receiving the sun. It's a very extremely vulnerable position. To be free from worry and not distracted by what might lurk in the water below is a liberated state of being, and the medicine of this card directly asks you to be patient. Accept uncertainty, fully trusting that you'll be taken care of no matter what. Be wary of the mind chatter, insisting that you need to know the outcome right now, you need to know the results right now, because universal law doesn't resonate with our ego's desperate need for instant gratification. Something is waiting to be received, but it can only be accepted if you are open and if you allow it. Now, how can you be open and allowing if instead of saying, I'm so grateful that I had a client yesterday, you're saying, oh, I only had one client. I could have seen 5. That was 4 people that I didn't see. Like, is that being in the space of open to receiving? No, it's not. That's like a very wounded space, and you're not helping your business if you continue to be in that energy, right? So this is about you finding a way or a process or a tool that works for you, that helps you pivot your mind. Because here's the other thing, right? Have you ever heard of that saying, shelf help? Shelf as in bookshelf. It really means that, we can have the best of intentions. We can go to our favorite bookstore, buy the latest book by Russ Harris or whoever you're into at the time. You know, for me, it's Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, or all of that kind of stuff. But whatever, you can go and buy the book, right? And you feel good in the moment and you're so excited and you flip through it in the store. It feels good to take it home. You unpack it, you take it out of its little bag, you flip through it again and you put it on your bookshelf. It feels really, really good, right? Do you read it? Now, I know some of you are going to say, yes, you do. You read every single book that you buy, and that's awesome. I also think, just from my own personal experience, I get very excited in the moment. I love the book in the moment. I bring it home, I put it on the shelf, and then it's out of sight, out of mind. I don't look at it again. It doesn't occur to me to look at it again. I don't, all the things, right? That's called shelf help, when you buy the book and you don't actually do anything with it. I think the same can be said for things like doing a course, right? How many courses have you bought and maybe started strong? You started strong. You were showing up on the calls. You were in the community, encouraging other people, occasionally posting something yourself. You were going through the little videos in your member dashboard, in your course dashboard. But then it just starts to kind of die down, right? And maybe even if you were watching the videos and maybe if you downloaded the course content and you printed off the little workbook, did you actually do it, right? Maybe no. And if you did fill out the workbook and you did watch all of the video, how much of it did you implement, right? Can you see it gets less and less and less and less and less? And then you say, I did that course, it didn't work. I need another one. I've got to go and find another course now. It's not about finding another course. It's about the implementation. Your results for money, for clients, for visibility, for opportunities, for all those kinds of things come through you taking action. So even if you're sitting there and you're saying, I'm overwhelmed, I believe that a lot of the time you're overwhelmed because you're either aware of what it is you need to do, but you don't know how to actually do it. So you're feeling like stuck, or you have no idea what you need to do. You feel like you've tried so many things and none of it's working. And now it's like, I have no idea. And so you're kind of stuck. When you find yourself in that position, do something. Even if it's just something low effort, low energy, do it. Why? Because action brings clarity. I was talking to ladies in Momentum recently, right? We were doing training on the freebies and the opt-ins and all of this, and I was showing them, and I think I may have mentioned to you too, that, I did a side-by-side comparison of, I had an opt-in form and I changed one thing on the opt-in form. This opt-in form was for an awesome freebie. Did anyone download it, the first day? No. I changed one thing the second day and boom, within a few hours, 33 people had downloaded it. Now, I could have just sat there on the first iteration and been like, nobody likes it. I'm really crappy at freebies. I hate marketing. What a waste of time that was. I knew I should have been putting money onto Google ads, right? And then just moving on to the next thing. You're feeling stuck. So you think, I don't know what else to do. Maybe I just need another thing. I don't know. It's all so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. And so you kind of like sit there and you're in that state of, it's hard. I don't like it. This doesn't feel right. I don't feel good about myself. I don't feel good about my business. Maybe I should, and you're just like in that. But what if you took an action, right? Just like I did. I just thought to myself, okay, no one's downloaded it. I've shared it everywhere. No one's downloaded it. Let's go and have a look. Maybe there's something I can change. And it was a very simple text-only opt-in page. I changed one thing. Boom. 33 people. So straight away, I started to get an idea of what to do and what to do differently. And with that, I started to try another new thing the next time and another new thing the next time. The same with posting on my Facebook page, right? On my Facebook business page. Took me ages to figure out what my audience really wanted from me and what they really like and what really resonates with them. But I could have sat there and just said, you know what? I post all the time. I've got 5,500 followers apparently on my page, and no one ever engages, no one does anything, and no one likes me. It's pointless, it's useless, it doesn't work for me. But no, I sat there and I was like, I'm going to look at this and I'm going to take an action. And I had no idea what I was doing other than I thought I'll look at the data and I'll see what the numbers, so when I say data, I mean the insights on your Facebook business page and the professional dashboard. I just went in there and I had a look at them and I could see, oh, that's low. Oh, that isn't, like nothing was high, nothing was excellent, but there were certainly variations. And so I looked at the things that weren't going too well and I thought, okay, well, this has given me an idea of like where I'm messing this up. And so I started to make changes, and you can see like they're all still there. You can go back and have a look at them yourself. You can see the evolution of the Facebook posts and how I went from no downloads, no engagement up to, 500 plus downloads, and people are still downloading stuff every day and it's weeks later, right? It's taking the action that will bring the clarity. You sitting in there saying, oh, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stuck, is going to keep you overwhelmed and stuck. But anyway, the other thing too is that, as this card is saying that sometimes you just need to allow yourself to receive. Allowing it. Allowing them to pay the cancellation fee, allowing them to pay when they book the appointment, allowing them to like whatever it is, allowing yourself to increase your fees for January, right? Whatever it is. And then the second card that came out, you wouldn't believe this, was called Action Leads to Success. I mean, you couldn't make this up. Tell me, tell me that cards don't, in air quotes, work. You always get the message that you're meant to receive if, like, you set yourself up the right way from the beginning, right? But anyway, of course, action leads to success, but you've got to be taking the right actions. The right actions, and maybe an absence of the right actions. The right actions are things that align with your values and get you to profit. The actions that perhaps aren't going to do that, the ones you shouldn't be spending any time on, they tend to be the things that we do, like your busy work. And we do that when we're in avoidance or procrastination. We get busy, like I was just making folders for all my looms before, right? Because I knew I needed to do this. I knew that I wanted to do this episode, but I wasn't feeling inspired. I didn't know really what I was going to talk about. So I was just like doing some mindless work while I was allowing ideas to come through. And just taking little actions gets you unstuck, but they do compound over time. You don't always have to be doing big things, right? It's action and implementation that are going to get you the outcomes, but it's got to be action and implementation of the right things for your business and you, okay? Anyway, I've got to go. I have a beautiful Practice Momentum client this morning in about 5 minutes, and I've got to go and turn on the heater because I'm in Melbourne. And while it was 20 degrees when I got up this morning, it's dropped down to about 12. It's black outside. I'm going to have to turn on the lights in my study here. And it started to rain and it's gotten very windy. So, I want to go make a hot drink, turn on the heater, turn on my lights, get ready for the day. And thank you so much for listening to this and for being part of my world. And I hope that something landed for you. Thank you. So grateful for you. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Speak to you on Saturday. Bye. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Private Practice Podcast. So as you reflect on today's insights, imagine creating real success in your private practice without going down rabbit holes or exhausting yourself with business activities that don't move the needle. With Practice Momentum, you have push of a button help available on demand. It's like having an expert in your pocket ready to guide you whenever you need it. Visit brooklynstorme.com to discover how Practice Momentum can transform your approach to building a thriving practice. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the mind, business, and spirit of private practice success.